Hello everyone. Another gray day in Hertfordshire. Exploring the ruins of an old castle here. It's sort of interesting. It's one of King Henry's old wives, one of his many wives, I guess. He gave her a little place here after he divorced her. But I wanted to take an opportunity to speak on the topic of John 1:1. I've been intending to do that for some time, but just haven't got around to it. Somebody left a message on one of my YouTube videos the other day and said, apparently you do not know Hebrew and Greek. Well, my response was, no, I don't know Hebrew or Greek, but I know the truth. But I have acquainted myself with the issues with John 1:1. As you surely know, the New World Translation renders John 1:1 that the Word was a God. And of course, Trinitarians and those that believe that Jesus is God are adamant. That's a wrong translation. It's horrible. It should read, as the old King James and practically every version, the Word was God. And it turns out that that's exactly what it says in the Greek. The Word was God. But it's a little tricky because sometimes you lose something in the translation. Have we seen enough of this? I don't know. Take another walk around the grounds here. In the Greek, it doesn't literally say this because the sentence structure is somewhat different, but it says that in the beginning the Word was with the God, and the Word was God. Now, those that'll scream and pull their hair out about, Jehovah's Witnesses have changed the Bible. Well, consider this fact, that no translation in English retains the definite article, the, before the first God. They drop it. They cut it out. They're changing the Bible. No, that's in accord with the proper procedure for translating the Greek into Hebrew. For example, one of Jesus' last comments when he was hanging on the stake, he said, in Greek, in the interlinear, Jesus literally said, the God of me, with what left you down in me. Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? And nearly every translation words it, my God, why have you forsaken me? So they did not translate the ho theos, which in Greek is the God. But at John 1:1, that distinction is necessary to point out because it's making a distinction between the first God, the God, and the second God. The Word was God. So to make that distinction understandable in English, it's necessary to add the indefinite article, a. Jesus was, or the Word was, a God. Now, the Greek language doesn't have an indefinite article. But in order to make it make sense in English, that is the technique used. And the King James, the NIV, and all the popular translations that translate John 1:1, the Word was God, in other instances, they add an indefinite article. For example, in the 28th chapter of Acts, where Paul was shipwrecked on Malta, and he went and picked up a bundle of sticks, and there was a viper that attached itself to his arm, and the Maltese people that saw that and knew that it was a deadly snake were expecting Paul to swell up and die. And when he didn't, they began saying he was a god. Now, in the Greek, it said that they were saying that Paul was God. Didn't say ho theos. They didn't think he was the God. So to make it make sense in English, every translation says they were saying that Paul was a God. They inserted the a in there. King James did it. And so someone who does know Greek, whom I have read his book, Jason Batoon, he wrote I've already been through. He wrote Truth and Translation. He's not one of Jehovah's Witnesses. He's a scholar that knows the Greek, and he examined 6 or 7 Bible translations and the controversies, and has commented on this John 1:1. And he frankly said he he was disappointed. I can't remember exactly how he worded it. It's been a few years since I've read his book, but he basically, even though he's critical of the New World Translation in some respects for inserting Jehovah in the New Testament, he absolutely supports their translation of John 1:1. And the fellow knows Greek, so there you have it. Takes nothing away from Jesus to be a God. Jehovah made him in his image and appointed him as an heir of all things and given him his throne. So Jesus is Jehovah's firstborn son, and he supports Jehovah's sovereignty, and he has tremendous power. So he's a God. You seen enough of this? Let's get out of here.